What's up, YouTube? So the word is Colin Kaepernick still wants to play. His girlfriend says it's up to teams. How do I feel about it? I ain't got no problem with him doing it. You know, they paid him to go away, but Roger Goodell said they sorry that they ran away. And they used all the end racism and the logos on the helmets and all kinds of kumbaya and all kinds of stuff as a reflection of what happened with George Floyd, everything he was talking about. So I call cap on the NFL. I think in 20, 30 years, people are going to look back at the ignorance of the people that support the NFL and didn't call them out on the hypocrisy and call their cap out because they whiteballed this man. He should still be playing. He'll be 38 in the wintertime, but they whiteballed him. It was injustice. It really is. And the fact is that they've been using logos and signatures and everything that's going on, and because of reaction and retaliation. And they knowingly know that they recruited black players and people from the neighborhoods and places who've experienced police brutality and institutionalized systematic racism, and they use it against him. They've used all that. Yes, they paid him and he took the money. They were in the collusion against him. Brian Flores, the coach who's was the NFL coach with the Miami Dolphins a few years ago, had a lawsuit against their racism, and it's a known fact. Listen, there are no outright black owners in the NFL. You Magic got a token one with Washington. You know, you don't have you know that. The players are still dominantly black, but they don't have no say. The TV rights, the TV time, the general managers, or the head coaches, it's just one big old happy plantation. What they did to Colin Kaepernick was injustice. And they used that. And they still use that as a means to keep him away. Because they never been held accountable for what they did to him. There's no reason why he can't even get a job with the speaking out on these issues. They don't want it. They let politics dictate. They allowed stuff to infiltrate. You know, I see Joe Flacco still got a job. The only difference between him, he happened to beat the 49ers and Kaepernick and got a ring. That's the only thing that he has over Cap. That's it. So Kaepernick should still be playing relatively. He should still be competing for a job somewhere. You know. I know it ended bad for him his last year in the 49ers, but there have been crappy quarterbacks who still. You going to tell me that, do you think, and just so people don't think, oh, it's just going to be black and white all the way, well, even though it is a racist situation, you can't tell me that Colin Kaepernick with the Cleveland Browns, with Deshaun Watson and Joe Flacco, he couldn't compete with that? When you had Jameson Winston last year, you tell me he couldn't compete with that? I mean, and look at the New York Giants with Russell Wilson and DeVito, and I forgot who the other quarterback is. Pathetic. I mean, look at some of these squads with their backup. You can't tell me he can't compete with that. They got some horrible quarterbacks lined up. The bottom line is they're in cahoots, they're in collusion, and it was injustice, and it's a violation, and he should, and they knew it. They paid him to go away. But if the man could come back and play, they still haven't resolved how it is with what they did to him. They never resolved that. Think about it. They paid a man in his peak and his prime to go away, but they ended up using all the logos and the decals because of institutionalized systematic racism, which they couldn't avoid. They actually had a logo in the end zone that said "End Racism." That's funny. But yet they bring back who they bring back into the White House for his presidency. Think about it. DEI and all the other things, and the same person who says if he doesn't stand for fire him. Think about that. Let that imagery set in. Who gets told what to do? Who goes by what they do? But no one is going to take that stand. Because they would rather be racist than, say they were wrong. And he was unjustly whiteballed by the NFL. And that's the travesty even off. I ain't got no problem with him still out here flexing that he can still play. I've got no problem with it at all. None at all. Because they took his right for work. And he is a real soldier who went up against them. Like I said, in 20, 30 years, people going to look back at this and think this was a travesty that man didn't get to even play. And all the fakery about people playing at the Super Bowl and all the fakery about people acting like they so woke. They not woke. They get paid, they forget. No one is going to sit there and take a stand against the NFL because it's too big of an institution. And they let Jay-Z or Live a Lip Jive Turkey say we past kneeling. We're not past no kneeling. We haven't even began to properly kneel because that's to solidify and that's to humble yourself, what you don't know nothing about. Colin Kaepernick should still be having an opportunity as I talk right now. And that's the real travesty. Imagine at your job, and even though they paid you to go away, but they used everything that you represented and counter. But they can't even justify where they let you go. Think about it. The 64 Bill Civil Rights Act and everything Dr. King and all civil rights leaders movement stood for. And they ran this man out. For what reasons? They can't even explain. That is the real injustice. And I hope in time, Colin Kaepernick will be properly acknowledged. Because this is embarrassing. And this happened in the middle of broad daylight in the last 10 years on social media. Let that sink in. This ain't 1947, 46 Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby, Jesse Owens situation. This happened right here before your eyes. And it's even more embarrassing for it to be this late in the day with how late they are. Yet they want to act like they want to be inclusive when they didn't take care of one of their own. Because he is a football member and he's one of their own. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.